And they cut up all over the place, jumping on the piano, moving every which way. The audience loved them. I guess I learned from them. Presley's close friend, Earl Greenwood, recalled, his singing voice was high, but incredibly clear. Out of the corner of my eyes, I saw tears in Gladys's eyes. The Presleys formed a vocalist trio in church, as well as at camp and revival meetings. Presley's first public performance came at the age of 10, when his school principal, impressed with his voice, entered him in a contest at the 1945 Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show. Standing on a chair to reach the microphone, Elvis sang, unaccompanied, a sentimental ballad called Old Shep, about a boy and his dog. Elvis just walked himself up to that little old platform, his legs quivering a bit, and sang without any music at all, recalled a proud Vernon later on. It was a real powerful voice, too. Darned if he didn't sing better than that fellow with the guitar. Presley's strong performance won him second prize, $5, and free rides all day. He would later record the song for his second album, Elvis. The following January, for his 11th birthday, Elvis got his hands on his first guitar. Ironically, despite his love of music, it was a .22 caliber shotgun that the boy had his heart set on. However, when Gladys took him down to the Tupelo hardware store, she had distinctly different ideas. "You don't want no shotgun. I saved all this time to get you a guitar for you to use singing. If you get good enough, maybe the minister will even let you play in church." Of the three models, Gladys paid $7.75 to buy him the most expensive. Thoughts of a rifle prominently vanished as young Elvis delighted in his birthday gift. An uncle showed him a few rudimentary chords, but Elvis was largely self-taught, simply by listening to the radio and copying the lusty Mississippi Delta blues he heard every night. Cousin Herschel Presley recalls, "I remember Elvis used to carry that old guitar around. He loved that guitar. It didn't have but 3 strings on it most of the time, but he could sure beat the dickens out of it." Meanwhile, the pressures of being a working mother, coupled with Vernon's imprisonment and a lifelong struggle with poverty, took its toll on Gladys, and she began drinking to the point of missing work. Eventually, she developed a chronic cough and swollen ankles, which made walking painful. Still only in her 30s, she looked twice her age. In a small town like Tupelo, a lady boozer was a cause for scandal. Gladys was the talk of the neighborhood. In 1948, Vernon Presley was released from jail and found himself without work and flat broke. On the spur of the moment one September day, he announced that they were moving. Remembers Elvis, "We left Tupelo overnight. Dad packed up all our belongings and put them in the trunk of a 1939 Plymouth. We just headed to Memphis. Things had to be better." But life at 572 Poplar Avenue in the bustling Tennessee metropolis, if anything, was far worse. The Presley family moved into a one-room apartment without even a kitchen or sink and had to share a bathroom with 5 other families. On top of these deplorable conditions at home, Elvis experienced a profound culture shock as he found himself one of 1,600 students at Humes High, twice the entire population of East Tupelo. Painfully self-conscious and shy, the proverbial country hick in overalls was lost in the big city. Predictably, Elvis withdrew into himself. Determined to find a way to distinguish himself, however, Presley soon underwent a drastic change. He created a new look from a combination of 2 factors. One was his love of the comic book hero Captain Marvel, Jr., whose glossy black hair and mission to save the world captured Elvis's active imagination. Presley would later adopt Marvel's lightning bolt insignia as part of his renowned TCB, Taking Care of Business logo. The other half of his image was picked up during his frequent visits to the local movie house, where he was much taken by a character played by Tony Curtis, the alienated, sensitive, misunderstood anti-hero in City Across the River. After much experimenting with hairstyle and clothing, Elvis launched his junior year in a loud pink shirt, white buck shoes, sideburns, and his dark blonde hair now dyed black in a greasy ducktail. Presley might have forever languished in high school obscurity if it had not been for his perceptive history teacher, Mildred Scrivener, who cajoled him into participating in the school's minstrel show on April 9, 1953. He received a tremendous reception when he sang "Keep Them Cold Icy Fingers Off of Me" and then did "Old Shep" as an encore. By the end of the performance, the student audience went wild with applause. Remember Scrivener, "I'll never..."